everybody, welcome to my day 3, número 3 of my 90-day challenge, and I'm Kellytlopez here to help you gain back some quality time with efficient tech solutions. Yesterday we talked about the importance of keeping track of our time. Our first time tool was our handy dandy email calendars. Today, our number 2 time tool is our very basic mobile notes app. So both Android and iOS will offer plenty of options for a notes app. I personally like the apps that can sync with your Google account on your Android phone or on your iOS account with your iPhone. So why is that? Because nowadays we find ourselves using not just our phones heavily, but also our laptops and tablets and voice assistants, etc. So the ability to sync makes it much easier to access your notes from any device that you may be on. So what are we going to use these notes for? Well, basically anything and everything that you can think of. I know I'm not the only one that's scatterbrained on here, and what this app can do is try to keep your thoughts recorded in some way so we can go back to it and reorganize our ideas later on. So in particular, going through the Entre training, it has been a lot easier for me by using the Notes app. As I go through the trainings, I use notes to take down any random ideas or thoughts that I have that might apply to my potential online business. And from time to time, I'll go in and I'll organize my written ideas so that they continue to make sense. Also, now that I'm a few months in, I go back and look at all the ideas that I jotted down, and I find a common thread amongst them. Or if I realize that it's just not applicable, I kind of separate those things out, and that way it stays a little bit organized. And Entre is filled with so many good nuggets of information, so you want to have something handy to store any pop-up ideas that come to your head, and then you can later on see how they can apply to your business model. And since the notes can sync, what I've done is I write down bullet points or even my scripts, and then I can retrieve them from the laptop and display them on my monitor. And that it can help me to guide, or I can read them as I make my videos. And speaking of that, I have to tell you guys a funny story. Yesterday I used my notes app, and I had written a pretty decent script on my teleprompter. And this teleprompter app, which was recommended by one of the awesome Entre mentors, Dan Martin, it's a great app. I opened it up and I selected the default text in the script template, and I went to go delete it, but I ended up cutting the text instead. So I go back to my notes app, and instead of copying my note, I end up pasting over my note with the teleprompter template. So my note was gone, completely gone, and all I had left was the default text from the teleprompter. I looked at it in shock, and I couldn't believe I had done that, and I freaked out for a short time there before I hit the Google webs, and I'm trying to figure out how I could get my note back. And the note app, just because it doesn't have an undo button, I couldn't undo. And when you paste, it doesn't give you the ability to see the paste history. So I couldn't pick like the paste from before, the very last one. Now let me back up and let you guys know that I am currently using an iPhone 12. I used to have an Android, but it's been about 2 years that I've been using the iPhone, and it's primarily because I troubleshoot the iOS platform often enough, and so it makes it easier to have the iPhone in hand and easily accessible. Well, on the Android platform, which is the Samsungs, the LGs, the Google phones, you can paste and see the paste history from the Google keyboard. On the iPhone, I didn't have undo, I didn't have paste history, and I googled if the iPhone Notes app had any previous versions available, which they don't, and it automatically syncs. I googled whether I could look up the paste history, and it didn't seem so. I got all these convoluted answers, and I felt defeated for a few minutes. I was upset, that I just spent all that time, and now I was going to have to rewrite it, since, you know, honestly at this point it's like a security blanket, you know, to have it written down. And, you know, let me tell you, friends, I ended up finding an article on shaking your iPhone. Okay, I know that might sound weird, and honestly, I do question the motives of the Apple developers, but there is a way to get my note back, and it turns out you literally shake your iPhone. You just shake it, and that's your undo feature. So at this point, you know, I had already Googled everything, clicked around, tried several paste actions, and I didn't think it would go back and undo my actions. Well, it worked. It definitely worked. And, you know, I was there in my notes app, and I happily shook my phone several times in the app, and voila, my cut note had came back like magic. So I was extremely relieved that, you know, all of a sudden I didn't have to rewrite it all. And so, you know, that does go to show that, you know, not all hope is lost, guys. Technology can definitely be a pain, but many times you'll be pleasantly surprised at the things you can discover and accomplish with all the right tools and all the right shortcuts. So download the Notes app and happily take down some notes. And if your previous information, you know, gets accidentally deleted, don't forget to shake your iPhone. Thanks for watching. Keep teching, my friends. Tomorrow we have time tool number 3. Peace.